Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
The winners for the best Halloween partner costumes are sisters Rita and Suvi Spicer. Congratulations, girls. Come on up on the stage and get your prize bag. Really, Susie? We won? Yeah, no way. Come on. There you go, girls. Wow. Thank you, Miss Mayor.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine, ladies. The moment I saw this adorable bunny costume, not to mention that creative magician costume, I knew right then and there that you two were definitely winners. Now, off with the music and on with the light. Alright, everyone. Now it is time to gather in the next room for scary stories. Those of you who wish to not attend for stories, you are more than welcome to stay right here. We've got plenty of coloring pages for the kids, and we have lots of punch and food left over, so those of you who wish to just stay here, feel free. Now, all of you follow your mayor into the next room for scary stories. Suv? Are you sure you want to come with me for scary stories? I mean, most of your daycare class are staying behind to color. They probably feel too scared to come and listen.
Well, I'm not scared, sissy. I'm a big girl. Besides, Aiden and I made a bet on who can sit through it the longest. If he wins, I gotta play Uno with him at recess for a week. And if I win, he has to wear one of my hair bows for a week.
Okay, that's pretty funny. But I've heard this first story took place in this very town a long time ago. I don't want you to get scared.
Rita, I already told you. I'm not scared. Big girls don't get scared.
Of course you're not. Then come on. Let's find a spot to sit before we miss the stories. Thank you all for attending today's party. So, to wrap it up soon, I'd like to start off our ghost story session with the ancient legend of our beloved town. This should be good, right, Rita? Maybe, Corky. I'm concerned for my sister, though, but she's confident she can sit right through it all. Dog, Suvi really is something special. I was such a scaredy cat when I was 4. I'd give anything to be as brave as her. All right, everyone, simmer down as I tell you the legend of a man who once lived right here in St. Pines. A man who was known to thirst for blood. This legend dates all the way back to 1719. St. Pines had just been built. Pets traveled far and wide to settle down in this peaceful town. Among all those pets was this one man covered by a worn robe in black. Nobody knew where he came from, and nobody came near the small house he lived in. The only 2 things some of the pets knew about him was that he worked at the old butcher shop, and his name was Ferracho. Apart from all of his hard work as a butcher, he was a strange man. He wore his robe all year round, everywhere, and always kept his head down. He barely interacts with anyone, and often isolated himself in his home. After 3 years go by, it was now 1722, and things with Ferracho only got creepier. For example, He never took proper care of his home since he moved in, so his yard was ghastly. All the plants looked as dead as his rotten tree. The walls on the outside were peeling with old, ugly gray paint, and the windows looked all filthy and cracked. But they were covered with thin, dirty, white moth-eaten curtains that no one could see through. There was never a time of day or night when the lights inside were turned on. Ferracho not only became a worker at the butcher shop, but also a regular customer. He was seen buying meat from there almost every day. During his shifts, Ferracho would secretly sniff all the raw meat he could. Handling it was his favorite, because he would let the excess blood drip all over his paws when he handled the meat, and lick it off secretly in the bathroom before washing them. The biggest thing nobody knows is Ferracho's addiction and thirst for blood. The more blood he has, the younger he feels, but he could never get enough. Ferracho believed that blood was the key to extending one's youth and living a little longer. Because of that, he never cooked his meat to eat it. He prefers it rare, so he can suck as much blood in every bite possible. Shortly after spring came that year, the owner of the butcher shop started noticing a shortage of the meat and immediately suspects there's a thief. So the next week, after the shop was properly restocked with more meat, the owner hid secretly in the storage room after pretending to go home. He heard someone come in and started stuffing large hunks of meat that haven't been cut yet. He quickly shined his lantern on the figure to discover it was Ferracho. Enraged, the owner snatched the bag from the blood addict before firing and forbidding Ferracho from coming back. Furious, Ferracho found himself pondering on where he can get more blood and how to get back at his boss. He was just heading out for a walk at dusk when he noticed a little boy walking alone. The creep got an awful idea for revenge. For you see, the kid was actually the son of his former boss. He and his mother would often stop by the butcher shop to visit his father. Ferracho ducked from behind a bush nearby. He tossed a penny on the sidewalk, and the boy stopped to pick it up. As soon as he rose back, he was knocked out by Ferracho with a hammer. He dragged the kid in his house, took the sharpest knife he owned, and stabbed him in the heart. Watching the warm red blood pour from the child's chest pleased the man. After one lick off his knife, Ferracho knew he had his revenge and his new blood supply. For the next 5 months, young children have been going missing, a total of 13 to be exact. Ferracho was the culprit for every child disappearance, killing all of them before draining all their blood. But this couldn't go on forever. With so many children disappearing in St. Pines, parents took some serious precautions by constantly watching their kids and keeping their homes locked tight. Finding out about the lockdown made Ferracho go insane. His gory greed finally got the better of him when he tried breaking into the house of a couple who just had a baby. The father darted to his daughter's nursery the second he heard the sound of a window being smashed. He caught Ferracho coming close to the crib and tackled him to the floor. His wife heard the noise and rushed in too, and scooped the baby up before rushing to call the town sheriff. Pinned to the floor, Ferracho screeched at the lady, "That baby is mine! I want her blood!" The couple were terrified, but the sheriff came in no time at all, arresting the blood addict. With the insane suspect behind bars, the sheriff and deputy searched around his ghastly house. They discovered bloodstains in almost every room, all over the walls and floors, along with a few rotten, half-eaten carcasses, but the most horrible thing they found was down in the basement. As they climbed down, they instantly smelled something really gross. At the bottom were bloody sheets, and each one looked like they were covering something. Under every sheet was the corpse of every missing child, mutilated, decaying, and drained of all their blood. Ferracho was charged for 13 counts of abduction, murder, and cannibalism, and was sentenced to death. He was taken to the edge of the forest outside of town to be hanged. Once he was finally dangling from that rope, he gave every parent he wronged a creepy grin. Until the owner of the butcher shop came to the front of the crowd, holding the sharpest knife from his shop. Then, just like what happened with his son, he stabbed Ferracho right in the heart. As the blood gushed from his chest, the owner looked Ferracho straight in the eye and whispered, "Now it's your turn to lose blood." When Ferracho finally died, his body was left hanging for about 3 days. And after that, his horrid house was burnt down. Thank dog. I wouldn't want to see that awful place. But, Miss Mayor, why burn the house down? Well, because it reminded everyone about what happened to those kids. So, shortly after the house fire, St. Pines gave those poor children a proper burial on the former property of Ferracho, after a cemetery was put in the house's place.
Was Ferracho buried in his yard too?
Heavens no, sweetheart. A monster like him didn't deserve a burial there, so the townsfolk buried him deep in the forest. Although, before that, I can't put my claw on it. But I think a little something was amiss when he was still hanging there. What do you mean?
Tell us, please.
Well, the night before they buried the body, somebody walking home claimed to have saw a bat from the woods. It looked as if it was drinking some of the blood from the place where Ferracho was stabbed. Oh my dog. After he was finally buried, children never disappeared in St. Pines ever again. Wow, Mayor. That story sure was intense. It'll definitely give me nightmares for weeks. Don't you agree, little sis?
No way, sissy. That didn't scare me one bit. I'll prove to Aiden I can sit through the whole thing.
That is one fearless girl you've got there, Miss Spicer. Well, let's just hope the rest of these tales are more child-appropriate than the first one.
Oh, Mom, these kind of stories are fun around this time of year. Yeah, silly Mommy. I'm a big girl.
Suv, sweetheart. When you're my age, you'll learn how young 4 really is.
Don't worry, Mom. I'll be right by Suvie's side the whole time.
Okay. Who else has a tale to share?
Suvi, time to pack your toys. Dinner's almost ready. Okay, Sissy. I'll be right there.
Do you want some help with that?
No, thanks. I'm good.
Yes, I know. You're a big girl. Of course you are. Just don't be long. It's getting dark.
Is anyone there? Hello? Come on out. I won't hurt you. Oh, it's a tiny critter. You're kind of cute. I want to pet you.
Oh, my mouth is watering. This looks so good, Mom. Thank you, Rita. But we can't start without your sister. Did you help her with her toys outside? I offered to help, but she didn't want me to.
Man, she's independent these days. Remember when you were 4, honey? It took 2 whole months for you to learn to tie shoelaces, but Suvi did it in less than a week.
Oh, Chad, not that story again. You know it makes Rita embarrassed.
Suvi?
What's going on?
Suvi, what's wrong? What happened to your arm?
I was getting my ball from behind our tree, and I got bit by a critter with pointy ears and sharp teeth.
Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry. Here, let me see it. Well, it doesn't look too bad.
Yes. Nothing a little soap and water can't fix. Come on, sweetie. Let's get it cleaned up. You and Rita can go ahead and start without us, honey. We'll be back in a few minutes. What's going on, Dad? Is Suvi okay?
She'll be fine, Rita. She just had a bad encounter with a critter outside.
Oh. Oh, but wait! Her toys are still outside.
You and I will go out and get them after dinner. Your mother is dressing your sister's bite wound right now, and she said me and you can start eating.
You can start eating, Dad. I'm just gonna keep waiting for them.
Suvi, are you up? Your breakfast is ready.
Morning, little sis. Well, you're dressed a little differently today. I haven't seen that bow on you since you were 2. I thought you wanted to wear pink today.
I changed my mind. Besides, I think black looks better on me.
Well, here's your breakfast, sweetheart. I made your favorite, waffles.
Actually, Mommy, aren't there any pork chops in the fridge? Extra rare?
Say what?
Ew! Suvi, eating raw meat is not a good idea. You could get really sick, or even get a tapeworm. Just eat your waffles, and you can have as much syrup as you want.
Okay, Mommy.
Weird.
How's your arm feeling today? Does it still hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt anymore, Daddy. It stopped bleeding overnight, but I can still feel the bite mark when I feel the bandage.
Well, I'm glad you're not in pain anymore, Suv. Getting bitten so hard by that critter must have really hurt. I think after school, we should go visit the doctor to get your wound examined. Whatever bit you last night, I just hope you won't get an infection.
But I'm positive I'm fine now. Silly Mommy.
Your mother's got a point, honey. You don't exactly know what the creature even was. It could have had rabies.
Chad, don't say that! It'll only stress me out more.
Sorry, Kendra. Anyways, girls, eat up. You can't be late to catch the bus, Rita, and Daddy's gotta drive you to daycare, Suv.
What tail is she wearing?
Good morning, Suvi.
Good morning, Miss Lois. Hiya, Aiden. Well, since I managed to sit through every scary story over the weekend, I bet you're ready to admit that I won our bet.
You heard every single story? Me too.
hide? Dang it! How do we settle this?
Maybe instead of making it a whole week, let's make it for the next 3 days, starting today. I even brought my Uno cards. Too bad you forgot that bow.
I didn't.
Aw, man. Why can't I just wear the black bow in your fur?
Because pink looks great with purple, and black suits me better.
Really? I knew you since we were babies, Suvi. There was never a time when you wore black. Whoa. What happened, Suv? That bloodstain is so big. It looked like something attacked you.
Something did last night, but I'll talk about that later.
So, is it like a cast? Can I sign it?
I don't think so, Aiden. The bandage is cloth.
All right, boys and girls. Everybody on the carpet for circle time.
Rita, you've been very quiet this morning. Is something bothering you?
Just had a very strange morning, Corky. Suvi's been acting different. When I first saw her today, she was dressed in red and black and requested raw pork chops for breakfast. Raw meat over her favorite waffles. That's nuts. Am I right?
Wow, that is nutty.
But I wouldn't worry much about it. She's still a kid, and she's probably going through a sudden phase.
Yeah, a sudden phase that gave me the creeps.
Ladies, please, less talking, more multiplication. Oh, sorry, Miss Campbell.
Looks like today is my lucky day, little miss I'm better than you.
No fair! You were supposed to trip over that stick I threw on the ground. Nobody's better than me. I always win.
Well, sadly for you, Destiny, being a cheater didn't help you this time. Silly mare's kid. Don't you know that when you cheat, you'll never get ahead?
Well, I must say, Suv, I am impressed. And you already beat me in our card game. You're on a roll today.
Suvi, your mother's here.
Coming. See ya, Aiden. See ya, cheater pants.
My. That is one brutal-looking bite you've got, Suvi.
But I'm not in any pain anymore, Doctor.
Well, that's unusual. A bite as deep as that would feel sore for days.
Her reaction to the wound isn't the only unusual thing going on with her, Dr. Bain. 2 times today, Suvi asked if she could eat uncooked meat. Miss Lois said you asked her that. We already talked about it this morning. We don't eat raw meat.
A sudden craving for raw meat? Unbelievable. Anything else, Kendra?
Well, on the car ride over, she was telling me how great she did during gym and winning both a card game and a race with her classmates. She's never been that athletic before.
Maybe her sudden coordination is just a growth spurt. But being tempted for rare meat makes no sense to me. Before I fix up her arm, I'd like to take both a skin and blood sample from the wound. So, did she wear something that got bloodstained when she was bitten? I'd like to study that sample as well if possible.
She was wearing her favorite scarf. I promised her I'd take it to the laundromat later, but I haven't done that yet. It's still in the car, but I can go get it.
Perfect. I still need a vial and a butterfly needle. Suvi, you sit right there and don't leave this room. Your mother and I will be right back.
And don't touch anything. Medical equipment aren't toys to play with.
Okay, Mommy.
sure this scarf will really help?
I'm positive that it will.
Oh no. Mommy and Dr. Bain are coming back. Doc, my face. Much better.
Atta girl. Glad you listened and stayed put, Suvi. Now, it's butterfly needle time. I started using these and they work better. They're less stressful on children, for they're less scary to them.
I'm not afraid of needles, Doctor. I'm a big girl.
You're Mommy's big brave girl.
There we go. Okay, time to stitch you back together again. You won't feel a thing. It'll be like fixing a rag doll.
How do those stitches feel, Sue?
They make my arm feel tight, honestly. But they, like the bite, don't hurt.
I'm glad the doctor fixed it. So now you don't need that bloody bandage anymore.
Blood.
What?
Nothing. I think I should help Daddy cook dinner.
There's my stitched together rag doll. Mwah.
Daddy? Can I help you cook dinner?
Sure you can, sweetie. But you've got to be really careful since we're using the stovetop tonight. Tonight's pork chops like you wanted earlier. But seasoned and fried, not bloody and rare.
Can I at least put the meat in the pan?
Alright. But you go wash your paws straight after. You're gonna get blood all over them.
Hey, Suv. I got some time before bed so I can read you a story. Did you forget to turn on your nightlight, sis? You're afraid of the dark.
Turn off the lights, Rita. I'm trying to sleep.
Who is she? And what has she done to my sister? Honey? Is something the matter? Yes, there's something the matter. Suvi's the matter, Mom. Rita, obviously something's wrong with her, and I don't like it. Corky said it's probably a phase, but I think it's more serious than that. Mom, when I came to her room to read to her, all her lights were off, and she hissed at me.
She hissed?
Like a vampire. Ever since she got bit last night, Suvi's been acting really creepy. I don't feel comfortable around her right now, since I've never heard her hiss before. Something's just not right. Rita, I know you're scared, but Suvi's blood and skin samples are being studied as we speak. When we get the results back, we'll see if there's something we can do to get your sister back. Don't worry, honey. Everything will be okay. I hope so. But just in case, I'm gonna lock my door for the time being. Well, if that'll make you feel safe at night, then me and your dad won't stop you. I was going to tell you this in the morning, but I might as well tell you now to cheer you up. Wednesday there's no school, so I called Corky's mother and we arranged for her to come tomorrow after school for a sleepover. Won't that be fun? Yes, that would be fun. Because spending time with her always makes me feel better. Well, good. Anyways, you better get some sleep. In the meantime, don't worry about your sister. I'll keep an eye on her. Good night, honey. Good night, Mom. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. Bye, Suv.
See you later, Sissy.
After you hissed at your sister last night, I'm really expecting you to behave and not to do the same thing here. You understand, young lady? No asking to eat raw meat, and don't hiss or snap at your teacher or class.
I will, Mommy. Ugh.
I mean it, Suvi. If you don't behave, you're getting a spanking and a timeout.
Mommy, I'll be good, I swear. Goodbye.
Goodbye, honey. Guess today's my lucky day now.
Smart move. Putting down a pickup 4 and changing the color back to yellow.
See, Suv? I still got it. Look out, Corky. The Uno King is back. Up for another round?
Pass. I'm gonna go draw instead. What do you say we extend our last game for tomorrow?
Sure, I guess.
Don't be shy, my 80kins. The moment it's over the next day, so will be your time wearing that. Ew! These pictures are hideous! Skulls, knives, and blood? What kind of daycare student draws gory things like that? Whatever I draw, Destiny, is none of your business. Now scram! Excuse me? No one tells losers to scram around here except me. I don't know what's gotten into you, Spicer, but I liked you better as an easy target for me to pick on. Sorry, Destiny, but I guess you'll have to find yourself a new target. Because the old me is gone. What's up with your teeth? You look like a freak! Can a freak do this?
Suvi Spicer! Stop right there, young lady.
Ow! 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 But, Mommy, she started it! Ow! Ow! I didn't ask for raw meat or hiss at anyone! Ow! Ouch! Ouchie!
I don't care who started it, Suvi. Sure, you didn't do the things I said not to do, but tackling and trying to bite that girl was also very bad. I don't know what's going on with you, but we're getting fed up with your bad behavior.
But there's nothing wrong with me! I'm fine!
I'm not in the mood to argue with you, young lady. Right now, you go stand in that corner there for 30 minutes and think about what you did. Now.
And then the old squirrel said,
Nuts? Buddy, you're insane! You're insane! Okay, that's a good one, Cork. The night is still young, so what do you want to do now? Why don't we watch a movie? Sure. What do you want to watch? The Curse of Carmen Winstead on the Zoe Bing LPS Studios channel. Are you sure you want to watch that, Corky? I heard that it's really scary. It'll be fine, Rita. Besides, Halloween's just around the corner. So what better time of year for a scary movie than around in October? Are you girls hungry? We brought some snacks. Oh. Thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Spicer. Yeah. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
You're welcome, girls. Just to let you know, Suvi just went to bed, so don't make too much noise, okay?
Sure, Dad. Also, we don't want you staying up all night. I know it's not a school night, but I still want you girls asleep at a decent time. Say no more, Miss Spicer. We were just about to watch a movie.
Well then, after the movie, it's lights out for you two.
Sure. It's a deal. All right, you two. See you in the morning.
Night, honey.
Night, Dad. Night, Mom.
Another day done. I'd like to check some emails before turning in. Okay, Bob's prescriptions have been refilled. Lisa's ultrasound has been scheduled. Knee surgery is next week. Another one? Oh, the results for Suvi's samples? Kendra and Chad will be pleased to find out. But how were they able to get the results back that quick? So that's what Huh? What? How is that even possible? Oh my dog, this is bad. I gotta email the results to the Spicers ASAP.
Okay. Maybe I should have made a different suggestion. Great. Now I have both Suvi and a faceless teen haunting sewers to give me nightmares. Don't worry, Rita. Whatever's going on with your sister, you guys will eventually find out. Don't worry. Don't worry? Corky, I can't even sleep at night without locking my door. Last night I heard hissing right outside. I knew it was Suvi because it sounded exactly like the hiss she gave me before bed. Seriously. The hissing, dark clothes, constantly asking for raw meat, leaving her room in darkness, extra strength and speed, and enlarged pointed teeth. I'm telling you, Cork, my sister is turning into a monster. Okay, 4 of these things are weird, but the last 3 sound familiar to me. What do you mean familiar, Cork? Keeping her bedroom dark, dressing in black, and craving rare meat? Those habits are exactly like the things that crazy man did in the mayor's ghost story she told at the party. What? No, it can't have anything to do with that. It's just a legend that is over 300 years old. The stress must really be getting to me. Probably. Well, anyways, the movie's over, so let's just forget about Suvi and go to bed. Okay. I'm going to lock the door. Can you turn off the TV? Yeah, sure, no problem. Good night, Rita. Good night, Corky. Chad, I don't know about you, but I should probably start getting ready for bed. Are you staying up a little longer? I'd like to finish this episode of The Curse of Oak Island. Good night, honey. Good night. Kendra! Kendra! Kendra, look. This is an email from Dr. Bain. He just got the results for Suvi's samples back. What? Already? That's really good news, Chad. Why do you look so nervous? Because there's something bad about them. They did figure out what bit her, but there's also something else about it that doesn't make any sense. Well, what was it that bit her? It was a bat. Oh, my doc! That explains her odd behaviors! My baby's got rabies! No, she doesn't. What? Chad, it has to be rabies. Most bats are rabid, and their bites are very dangerous. Yes, honey, bat bites are serious business, and they thought it was rabies at first, but it's not. There was something strange about that bat, though, because it did infect Suvi. Please tell me, Chad! Just spit it out already! Calm down, Kendra. I'm getting to that. Thankfully, there was no rabies detected in the bite wound, but they detected both the DNA of the bat and a 37-year-old man. What? But that's impossible! How could there also be the DNA of a... The lights! What happened to the lights? I don't know. I'm going to check the circuit breaker in the basement.
Mommy. I'm thirsty.
Kendra? Honey? Oh, my doc. Oh, my doc. I gotta call the cops.
Hi, Daddy.
Rita? Did you just hear that? Yes. I never heard Dad scream like that before. I think there's someone inside the house.
But your parents locked all the doors and windows.
At least we're safe in here, Cork. I don't know. It doesn't seem right to just sit around and do nothing. You're gonna think I'm crazy, Rita, but I think we should unlock the door and check it out. What? Corky, you know why I keep my door locked at night? For all we know, it could be Suvi making all those noises. But you never know. It could be a crook, Rita. I know you're afraid of your sister right now, but it's your job to look out for her, no matter what. Oh, why do you always have to be right?
I've got a little brother, so I know these things. I wouldn't let anyone hurt him. And if there really is a robber in the house, you wouldn't want him to hurt Suvi, right?
The joys of being a big sister. Besides, we gotta find a phone and call the police. Fine. I'll only go if you come with me, Cork. I am not leaving the room alone. I never said you had to do this alone. Oh, dog, the power's out. Rita, do you have a flashlight? 2 of them. Okay. Here I go. Should we go check on my sister first?
Yeah, sure.
Suvi, it's us.
Whoa! Hold it right there. We're both staying right here, and I'll shine the light on our bed.
Suvi?
Suvi? Where is she? I don't know. But whatever's going on, this isn't funny. You're telling me. Stop hiding, Suvi. What was that sound? That sound can only mean one thing. I knew we should have never left my room. That's Suvi. I just know it. But what about your parents? We did hear your dad scream earlier, right? Maybe we should look for him and your mom. Oh, my dog! Who the damn would do such a thing? Mom! Dad! Mom! Dad! Are you okay? Speak to me! Look, there's your dad's phone. Quick, call 911. Okay, I will. It's ringing. Rita? I think I just found Suvi. I want your blood.
Suvi?
Corky!
What's your emergency?
You gotta help me. I need both the police and the paramedics. My baby sister has gone psycho. She just killed our parents and my best friend. Now, she's sucking their blood.
This isn't a prank call, right? A kid sucking blood?
I'm serious. I'm begging you. You have to help me because I'm next.
Okay, what's your address?
336 Horseshoe Avenue. Hurry. Sissy. I know you're in here. Come out wherever you are. Ollie, ollie, oxen free. Stay right where you are and don't call me sissy. I don't know what's gotten into you, but you are definitely not my sister. She wouldn't want to hurt our family. I want the old Suvi back. Silly Rita. Of course I'm your sister. But sadly for you, the old Suvi is no more. She's changed. And maybe you should change too.
What are you saying?
Join me, Rita. We can thirst for the blood of St. Pines together. The town's got more than enough for the both of us. Just think about it. You, me, and all the warm red blood we can suck from every last corpse. We'll both be able to live longer and be free. We'll be together forever, just like you always said we would be. What do you say, big sister?
No, I'm not like that, Suvi. I don't want to hurt or suck the blood from other pets. I'm not a killer.
I never thought it would come to this. I'm sorry, Rita, but I promise to visit Mommy, Daddy, and you whenever I can.
Suvi?
I hate long goodbyes, so I'll make it as quick as I can.
No, 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 no.
Bye-bye. Hope you and Mom and Dad like 'em, because I do. Want to know why? It's because the red roses are a reminder of how red your blood was. This place has got another visitor.
Oh, yeah, hi. I'm here to talk to my sister about my day.
Your sister, huh?
Her name was Corky. Since I became old enough to walk home from school alone, I come to visit her almost every day.
I think that's a very considerate thing to do.
I guess. I'll be honest, though. It's not always easy talking to her like this. I always have to pretend I can see Corky's face instead of looking at a tombstone.
What happened?
I don't exactly like talking about it because it was actually my friend's fault. I was gutted to learn what came over Suvi. And you want to know what was just as bad? She even killed her own family, too.
Oh, my dog. Tragic.
100%. Oh, and in case you didn't know, those graves you were looking at are actually her family's, the Spicers.
I already knew that. I come up to see them a couple of times a year. They were very nice pets, and they've obviously been through a lot.
So I'm guessing you're a relative of theirs?
Well, it depends. I won't say much, but I'm not exactly from around here. Anyways, I'll let you get back to talking with your sister. There's a few things I must take care of before dusk. I wish you the best of luck, kid, and I'll see you real soon.
Why does she seem so familiar?